Today I'm going to take you through a Eurostoxx trade from yesterday. This trade was done by one of our elite traders. Alright, let's crack into it. Okay, so this is the 1 minute chart for Eurostoxx, kind of outlining the trade. As you can see, the market makes a tight initial balance, breaks down, and the trade we're looking at is using this false break here to get long for to position sort of passively for a long. Let's just start at the bigger picture. So here we've got kind of the technical landscape. The chart in the background, this bigger chart, is a 1 hour or an hourly chart. You can see sort of up on the top left there is this sort of coronavirus pullback highs, or what were the pullback highs. The market then traded off, made a nice low, and it's auctioned sort of this range kind of since. As it's done that, it's come and developed blocks such as this one, where it's sort of had a false broke of the low, multiple rejections of the downside, and then broken higher. It's come down and retested the top of this range. Again, sort of another rejection in here, breaking higher, then developing another block on top of this range, and moving higher. So you kind of, it's developed this range, but at each sort of stage, it's shown strength. Now the market has ended up at another block right at the very top here. It's gapped up, held this gap, and then it sort of developed this region here with sort of quite low volume trade. Now, in this trade, there's sort of been, the auctions haven't been as nice. And so you can see here sort of on the bottom right in my profiles, you can see how this market has then developed sort of less flowy profiles. You've got poor highs on all three of the prior profiles, and really importantly, you've got poor lows. So in this bigger picture, we've got this market that where the hourly candles have shown us that's really strong, but has left this 4 TPO ledge here that hasn't been resolved. Now, ideally, you'd want to be, looking at a long in this situation, especially with sort of the market being sort of technically bullish and then potentially stimulus from the Eurogroup. But you've got these, you've got these poor lows that really sort of don't add up. They sort of suggest bad buying, whereas the poor highs suggest potentially bad sellers. And so, okay, the bad sellers aren't an issue if you're looking to get long. That's potentially nice for your position. But, how do you resolve and think about, how this might fit into your bigger picture and then into your trade idea? So from this, we've got sort of this bullish, higher time frame structure. We've got vulnerabilities in the auctions over the recent few days, and we've got this ledge. So what this trade has done is use this 4 TPO ledge and the break of that as liquidity. So now this area below this block should be really strong support. Everything is pointing to it being that way. So the trade idea is to use the break of this 4 TPO ledge, which is likely then to break this daily low at 33.30, and look to get long either down here or sort of really early on to then get long for a bullish move. So let's just go through that again quickly. So summarizing, we've got this, the market's trading in a 3-day balance at highs. The market's got bullish high time frame structure, suggesting below this block that we're auctioning, so this 3-day balance, there's going to be good support. The highs of the balance are poor, no tail, suggesting weak sellers. There is a 4 TPO ledge at 32s, and the balance lows at 30s. So we're expecting good support below 30s, but we've got a vulnerability at 32, right? So this is that sort of small piece of information that you can use. Now, that ledge, while can be seen as like a bearish piece of structure against the other higher time frame information that's all saying bullish, when you weigh those up, that ledge, isn't the deciding factor. Now, the other thing is that there was a bit of a poor low on SPU, and in the trade, I think what the effect of this has is that the trader then doesn't take on as much size as he might have otherwise. So the trade idea. The higher time frame structure makes it A, hard for the market to be bearish, and then B, makes a false break of those 30s likely if the market tries. So that 4 TPO ledge at 32s needs to be resolved, hence sort of the idea that we might get a false break of the 30s, and have a high conviction that a break of the 30s will become a false break as the market hasn't shown any seller strength, i.e., there are no tails at the highs. So let's go back to the charts. So here we are back at the 1 minute. This sort of dashed line here in grey is the 32s. So this is that 4 TPO ledge level. And then the yellow line here is 30s. That's the low. So you can see here that the market, liquidates and then has a bit of an auction and then has one more go, gets picked up in here, and then sort of auctions to re-accept the range and pushes higher. So what we're looking at here is we're just going to look at the price action and execution in this range here, in this block. So just as we make the false break, and then again here is sort of push up and auction. And what you won't be able to see from the ladder, obviously, because I'm only going to show a small part of it, is that there was really good absorption down here. So this sort of range from 30s to 32s. So really quickly, we'll just go and look at the footprint. So you can see the market traded down, made the false break down here, pushed back higher, and then you can see all of this volume that got transacted here between 30s, 31s, and 32s. And you can see here on the next auction down, when the market sort of pushed higher out of this wee sort of flag it's made, and it then comes back in, but it's really not able to do any volume there. You've got 17 offered down to 32s, but they never actually the sellers never take 32s offered. Okay, so yeah, we're just going to have a look at the development of this piece and then this piece, and this is all about how you would enter a trade like this. The idea then is that you've got really strong conviction that this market should pull back. I mean, it's in this really mature range. It will have then failed the lows which you'll have used for liquidity for your positioning, and then you should be looking to see what the market can do. Kind of here you'd be thinking, all right, this should be making the initial balance lows, should possibly be breaking the initial balance highs. Yeah, and you could think about even running this trade for longer. But sort of that's the idea here. Okay, I'll just swap to the ladders. Sorry, a little bit slow. Okie dokie. All right, and so here you can see we're down here at the 32s. So that is in the market, and their first liquidation has come and broke them. So the low is now 31 today. The balance low is 30s. And so if you can't see me, it's the third ladder from the left. Okay, so the market's currently sort of auctioning sort of 33s, 32s. Move the mouse off the screen. And yeah, we're really sort of interested in what happens when we push below. So right now there's sort of 8 lots traded at 33s, 9, 10, so nothing major, nothing very aggressive here. And so this is people paying out. All right, there we go. We have the market trade now down into 31s, a really small bid. Now looking to see if the market can then find the energy to break down further. Okay, so they've taken 31 offered. There's a bit of battle going on. Now you can see that there's already a bid in there at 27s. So already kind of preempting what's going to happen, right? This break of this ledge has now happened. We've got these strong lows. The market might have a look below. If the market does, it's going into a really strong sort of support buying area. And the idea here is that you would expect the market to get picked up pretty quickly. So the market's now offered down into 29, so it's broke the lows, now down to 26s. all right, there's a bit of a pullback, and now we want to see sort of what this interaction's like. So offer down into 25, but immediately 26 was taken bid again. So now looking to get long some more at 26. The market's bidding into 27s relatively aggressively. So now looking to put some more size on at 27s. So right now, the market's suggesting that, someone is looking to accumulate down here. There's a buyer here at this sort of 26, 27 level, and that's now becoming a point of reference. So if the market can now hold above 30s, that's confirmed the idea that this market, or that this is a sort of a false break. So again, looking to put some more size on down here. All right, but the market's taken 28 bid now 29. So now the question is sort of, can the market push back above 30s? If not, still happy to take that size. So the market now just offered back into 28s. So potential for another fill here. All right, can the market offer into 27, and will that buyer that was there hold the sort of 26, 27s? Okay, that was taken away. So, there wasn't sort of really any aggression there from the buyer. And now sort of looking to see, all right, what's going to happen with the sellers. Can they offer? There was an offer down into 24, but you can see the market was picked back up and now trading 26, 27s again. So that's a good sign. So, it came down and then immediately we bid up 3 prices. So we're not seeing any sustained kind of like snappy offer back from the sellers. And so now the market, we're bidding into 28 again. So it's looking like the break below 30s hasn't pulled in any aggressive sellers, and that the buyers are potentially in control here. So right now, this is probably an uncomfortable position to be in, but the market's not giving you any reason to doubt yourself. As long as you lean on your higher time frame information, that this area here should be strong, and that the only reason the market might want to take a look down here is that poor ledge, which has now been resolved. You should now be expecting this market to push back above 30s. And so the key here was, to really just trust in that information, and then to lean on the fact that there was that bit of absorption and there are that 26s, 27s, and the market really shouldn't be able to pull away from there. So if there is really a buy down here as the market offers, we should be expecting a buyer to pick it up relatively quickly. Okay, so you can see the market is now above 30s again. And so right now, as long as the market can hold an auction above there, this false break is looking likely. And so then this area, as we talked about before in the footprint, from 30s to 32s, this is the area where the market really absorbs. And this becomes, the next key reference point. So, okay, we've had absorption down here, and the market's now, the buyers haven't allowed the market to trade down. It's then pushed up, back above the 30s. And this trade here now is the absorption that we're seeing in this region is then about the market re-accepting trade back within the range, which now, with a false break of the lows, should give you really high conviction when you put it all within this high time frame information that this market should now be bullish. Okay. Let's just skip ahead to the next piece. So the next bit was where the market had auctioned out that range from 30s to 32s. It then pushed a little bit higher and has then fallen back down to retest into that range. Now, given the fact that there's been all this absorption and the market's moved higher, if the buyers are strong, we shouldn't really be able to see the sellers, really offer into that zone. Or any offer that we see down there should get picked up. And then any weakness or I suppose like strength we're seeing from the buyers, can look to add to the position, right? Because the target should be a lot further up. And so this is a potential another opportunity to accumulate. Again, you've seen this absorption at the 26s, 27s, which has allowed you to get long, preempting the false break. Then this trade above and then the absorption higher has confirmed this false break. And now looking for another chance to add and then to potentially see the market push higher. So, okay, let's watch from here. So the market's trading was just offered down into 33s, taken 33 offered, and there's a bit of a battle going on there. Sellers taking it bid, sellers taking it offered, buyers taking it bid. And now just sort of curious about, okay, can this market do anything? Can it trade down to 32s? And if so, what will the response be? So right now, 32 is quite well bid. 33 has a smaller offer, not really showing any kind of selling strength. And 33 is taking bid again, but the bid is quite small. So again, there 33 was offered, again a small offer, and 32 stayed thick. Okay, so now 33 is taking bid again. All right, and we're seeing it get a bit thicker, but still not showing full confidence. Maybe the buyers are trying to fake a bit of weakness to see if they can get selling. Okay, and then the market takes 34 bid, and you can see immediately looking to buy. So there, if the sellers were strong, we would have seen some more aggression into 32s. They should be looking for liquidity to sell into, but that's not what we saw. So now we should be again trying to think, okay, any heavy trade into 32s doesn't really confirm what we were looking for before. As there was anything, we should be trying to see, okay, sellers trying to bid and look for their liquidity. And so you can see there 34 was taking bid and now bidding into 35s. All right, can they take 35s bid? So we've got about 300 lots trading there. The market's definitely slowed down. All right, still the trade's quite slow. The offer isn't very thick, the bid is. All right, now 35's taking bid again, immediately looking to buy there. All right, this is all kind of confirming buyer strength. We haven't seen any strong offer now. The market got down to taking 33s weekly offered, but it has not really pushed back against the buyers at all. And so now 36 is bid, and now buying into 37s. And you can see he's taken away that bid that he had there, expecting it now that it's not going to get traded. And if it did trade down, then it kind of invalidates the idea. So now you should expect to see some continued strength from the market. Okay, that's all I have on the ladders. So let's just go back to the slides. Oh, sorry, wrong ones. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, we looked through this where we didn't see any where we saw this absorption here, and that buyer was then able to sort of contain the market in this region, which matches up with the higher time frame information. We then saw this little bit in here where the market tried to offer down, but didn't really have any ability to sort of push into the sort of 32s down to 30s region that we had really heavy absorption that I showed you on the footprint earlier. And then the market bid cleanly away with no counter offer. So all of this then is lining up with the sort of the bigger, higher time frame information, now the small time frame information, and the market, you're at the sort of bottom of a range where the lows have been, or the downside's been rejected, positioned perfectly for a long. Okay, ignore that. All right, so the key takeaways from this trade is anchoring your short-term information in the higher time frame information. So here, there was that 4 TPO ledge, which is not great structure, but in the perspective of the higher time frame structure, it is sort of not hugely important for the overall direction of the market. What it does do is give the market a potential short-term reason to trade down, and then it gives you an opportunity for a passive long. Now, when the information aligns across all of the time frames, including price action and correlation, so here you're seeing euro strength or USD weakness, and you're also seeing the bunds and BTP spread coming back in line. You've got all the probabilities in your favor, right? You had the high time frame information, the correlations, the sort of short-term information, which was that false break, and then absorption back within the range. All of this is aligning, and this whole setup is giving you the chance to get sort of really amazing positioning for a move up.